know, you have to stop saying that you're going to move to Canada whenever you're mad at something in the U.S. As a Canadian, I'm sorry, but no, you can't. I know we're friendly, but Canada's not your safe house. I mean, we barely let Canadians into Canada anymore, so please, pick somewhere else. I hear Finland is really lovely this time of year.
Cakes always have a little bit of a sense of humor. For my baby, I just did a giant set of which I feel like will haunt him for life. But what do they want at 1? Like, he can't declare what he wants.
Yeah. What he wants at 1. Yeah.
I'll show you a picture after. They're pretty
I
amazing.
need to see
of the cake,
that.
not of mine.
Of your
also
food.
amazing. Though.
Well, yes, I
Something Ryan Reynolds said to the cops up in Vancouver, and baby, it's wild. Folks stay confused on why people keep hollering that this judge is shady. But let me tell you, he got real pressed over some letters Perez Hilton sent, and probably a few spicy ones from creators calling him out for acting biased. Judges? Oh, they hate when folks speak too much truth. But the gag is, the Southern District of New York, baby, that place stay dirty. One of the most corrupt federal courts in the entire US. They out here dealing with more messy cases on crooked officials, cops, even judges than anywhere else in the country. Baby, the corruption in New York? Thick like grits, and it runs deep. So don't act surprised when folks start throwing shade and saying this whole case got a lil funk to it. 'Cause honestly, some of these rulings, they wouldn't fly anywhere else. The kind of leeway Blake and Ryan keep getting. Child, I ain't never seen nothing like it. That judge stay riding for Blake, like clockwork, ignoring real receipts, illegal subpoenas, shady moves, all of it. Just turning his head like he ain't seen nothing. Meanwhile, everything Wayfarer does gets dragged like it's automatically wrong. And whew, let me tell you, I got something I've been holding back, but today, I'ma spill it. 'Cause I would not put it past Ryan Reynolds, not one bit. Trying to sway the judge or twist the court with his Hollywood clout? Oh, Ryan been on that. I got my hands on a whole case file, Chile, from way back in 2015 and 2016, when Ryan legit tried to get a paparazzo locked up. He swore up and down he got hit by a car, but the real tea, that pap snapped a pic of him in full Deadpool makeup before the movie dropped. You know, the one where he looked like he just walked out of fire. Yeah, that. And baby, Ryan snapped. One photo had him spiraling into a full-blown meltdown that lasted years, trying to toss that man in prison over straight-up lies. Then he pulled strings in Vancouver, talking big money and big movies like he run in the city. And oh, I got a letter he wrote to the cops, and you need to hear every single word. This came after he already ran his mouth to police. Dated April 12th, 2015. And listen, I ain't never dropped this full letter before, so buckle up, because we're about to step into Ryan Reynolds' actual mindset. It starts all proper. Hi, my name is Ryan Reynolds, and I'm an actor, public figure from Vancouver, BC, Canada. Then he name drops his wife, Blake Lively, Blake Reynolds, and their baby girl, James Inez Reynolds. He even tosses in his mama's name, Tamara Lee Reynolds. Like, okay, sir, we get it. Then boom, he dives right into the drama. Says he got a long history with Richard Fidek, some paparazzo who'd been on his nerves. Claims the first time he clocked Richard was 4 years earlier in Vancouver when he and Blake were just trying to chill with fam. But Ryan says Richard tailed them in his car, pushing wild speeds, creeping up behind him like he was in a Fast and Furious movie or something. Let me be real clear, none of this went down, not a lick of it. But here go Ryan acting like he's saving the streets, talking about he feared for Blake, himself, and all the innocent folks just trying to live. Says he pulled over and hopped out like he was about to check somebody. And who's there? Richard Vidak, popping out with a long lens camera, snapping pics like it's TMZ live. Now listen, Ryan knows he's famous, knows people go and catch him out in public, but he acting like it was shocking this man had a camera while driving. Sir, you're not the president. Anyway, he calls the whole thing aggressive and says it had him shook. So instead of saying anything, he claims he dipped back in the car and kept it pushing. But not before saying Richard kept tailing him so close, he swore their bumpers were about to kiss. The way he tells it, They were scared, frustrated, and just straight up confused. So boom, we get to the part where Ryan say once they reached his mama's spot, Richard posted up outside like he was in a spy movie. He says they peeked out the window and saw him pacing, circling the front, dipping into the underground parkade, and even hiding behind bushes across the street. Now pause, I already dragged this whole story in a past video, so let's be real. None of this is true, not a drop. Doesn't line up with any of the receipts. He pulled this straight out of his Hollywood imagination, and that's just facts. And if you want to see where I broke it all down, go peep the episode in my podcast playlist. Now here's the kicker. Ryan says Blake got history with a stalker, so all this extra from Vidak had her on edge. Then he claims they spotted Richard like 12 more times from their hotel window and even from the 5th floor gym. So dramatic. And apparently, to avoid a vehicular collision, they stayed holed up in that hotel room the rest of the trip, okay? So instead of stepping out, they had family come to them, real incognito vibes. Then, fast forward like 3 years, they head back to Vancouver, and they swear up and down they were so shook that Pidek would pop up at the airport. They pulled a whole detour, flew into Seattle, rented a car, and drove 2 hours from SeaTac to dodge him. I mean, the dramatics. But plot twist, he still figured out they were in town. On that trip, Ryan claims both he and Blake saw Richard act even wilder, like he'd leveled up on the chaos. Said while cruising from the hotel to his mama's spot in Kitsilano, Richard, this time with an Asian woman riding shotgun, started tailing them again, creeping up like they in a car chase. Ryan says he went through an intersection, right as the light flipped from green to yellow. A city bus was behind him, and Richard, he was riding that bus's bumper like he was glued to it. So the light flips, right? The bus behind him hits the brakes, don't go through. But Ryan, he just keeps going like he above traffic laws. Says other drivers start honking and one even slams the brakes as Richard allegedly runs the red. Illegally, of course. And right on cue, Ryan pulls over, cue the dramatic music. He swears up and down he and Blake were suddenly so concerned that this chase was going to hurt innocent bystanders. And let's pause, because if you peep the pattern, Ryan always got to be the saviour, the protector, the hero. And let's not forget, this ain't even real. When he says this all happened, Richard wasn't even in Vancouver. But anyway, Ryan claims they worried Richard was going to cause a wreck and hurt somebody. Says that's when he knew it was serious. They parked on West Broadway near Vine Street, and apparently it was so bad, the only option was calling 911. But get this, he couldn't find his phone, and Richard parked right behind him. Blake, in tears, crying. I mean, Ryan really said he was in shock that someone would risk lives just for a photo. Like this picture was the crown jewels or something. He swears Fidek was out there smirking and getting a kick out of the whole chase, like it was a game. Says they'd catch him grinning or throwing a lil wave as he slid up next to him in traffic. Okay, sir. Anyway, they were only a couple blocks from his mama's crib, so Ryan says they decided to wait and call 911 from there. Then here come more stunts. He makes a U-turn and claims Fidek tried to match it, but flopped. Supposedly underestimated his car's turn radius and jumped the sidewalk on Broadway like it's Grand Theft Auto. Said dude stayed driving on the sidewalk till he could finish that turn. So finally, they roll up to Mama's house, and Ryan says he hit up 911. 2 cops pull up quick. But guess what? Richard pieced out right before they got there. Then police started grilling 2 random dudes outside the building. Turns out they were also caught on Richard's camera, part of some paparazzi syndicate or something. And here's the kicker. None of that actually went down. Ryan just straight up made it all up because he was salty. Richard snapped those photos leaking everywhere. Fast forward 2 years, Ryan's on set filming a Canadian flick called The Captive in Sudbury, Ontario. Just over 3 weeks of work. He and Blake were crashing at this tiny hotel when bam, they spot Richard again, stalking him all over town like he ain't got no chill. So Ryan says they had like 6 of these wild chases. just straight up stalking vibes. He claims Richard was all up in their hotel halls, sneaking around like he owned the place, even though he wasn't even a registered guest. But hold up, turns out that ain't true. Dude spent most his time on the film set and lounging around the hotel, just following them like a shadow. They got so fed up, they basically stopped leaving the hotel except for the bare essentials. Groceries, work, that's it. Blake was so shook. After the first week, she wouldn't step foot outside at all. Then, after filming wrapped, Richard supposedly tailed them all the way to Toronto, hanging outside their hotel 24/7. But here's the plot twist. He actually showed receipts with plane tickets proving he wasn't even in Toronto.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. If you're feeling the vibe, hit that like button. And if you're new to the fam, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop the latest and greatest. Thanks for tuning in.